Today is Wednesday, May 5th. Before we proceed, we'd like to roll call to establish a quorum. So I'm gonna be from the order of what I see on the screen. Commissioner Keurig?
Here.
Commissioner Blockus?
Here.
Commissioner Harding?
Here.
And myself. So we have 4 out of 5, and the quorum is established. Thank you. Today on the first agenda, special item, election of chair and vice chair. Without Commissioner Bishop, do we still proceed with that, or should we wait till his return next time?
Okay, isn't he in line to be next in the barrel?
I believe
yes.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a loaded question.
Yeah. So, you know, on some boards, if you're not there, you become the board chair.
Okay. All right. What about vice chair? Are we gonna nominate a commissioner to be the vice chair?
I nominate Commissioner Blockus.
Right.
Second.
All right. So we still need to call to vote, right?
Yes.
All right. Again, from the order I see, Commissioner Keurig,
Aye.
Commissioner Harding,
Aye.
Commissioner Blockus. Can you vote?
Aye, that's fine.
Okay. I myself, aye. Approve. So we have a Commissioner Blockus be the vice chair, and Commissioner Bishop be the chair.
Yes.
Is it gonna take?
I'm sorry, Chair Ma. I thought you guys were going to hold off for the next meeting for the chair.
Oh.
I thought because Commissioner Bishop has indicated on multiple occasions he doesn't want to be the chair. So.
I understand last year he mentioned that, but is that still true for this coming year?
I spoke to him after a meeting a couple months ago. He also expressed that same. So that's why it might be better if you guys vote on the chairmanship when he's present. So.
Oh. All right. So
should we rescind the vote?
Well, your motion was to have Commissioner Blockus be the vice chair.
Yes.
If you want to re-vote and just drop the chairmanship from the motion. So.
Okay. So.
New motion.
New motion.
I withdraw my motion.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we probably should just wait till Commissioner Bishop till we have a full quorum.
Yeah, I believe if that's the case, I think, yeah, I agree. Let's wait till next time when we have a full quorum, then we will discuss about this again and revote.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, Anita here, I don't know if we need a motion to defer this item, but it wouldn't hurt.
All right. Okay. Would like to make a motion to defer?
So moved.
Your next meeting.
Yeah, I make a motion to defer the election of chair and vice chair until the next fully attended meeting.
Second.
Okay. Again, Commissioner Keurig,
Aye.
Commissioner Harding,
Aye.
Commissioner Blockus, and myself, aye. Motion approved to postpone the vote for chair and vice chair till next fully attended meeting by the commissioner. All right, move on to our consent calendar. Today, item number 2, design review commission minutes. Anyone have any question or Anyone would like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay,
My second.
all right. Let's vote again. Commissioner Carrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Harding,
Aye.
Commissioner Blockus,
Aye.
myself, aye. Motion approved, 4-0. Moving along to our discussion item tonight, SC 20-0015 for the project at 324 Blue Oak Lane. Can we have the city staff, Mr. Golden, make the presentation?
Yeah, sorry about that. Trying to find my mute button. So I'm sharing my screen, just confirming everybody can see that.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. So this is a project on 324 Blue Oak Lane. It is a second-story addition to an existing single-family house. No delay there. So the subject property is located on Blue Oak Lane, which is part of the Oakland subdivision. Blue Oak Lane is at the west intersection, or west of Yerba Buena Avenue, where Yerba Buena Avenue terminates. This particular property also backs up to Foothill Expressway, so there's no neighboring properties to the rear of this particular property. You'll also note that Adobe Creek is located in the rear portion of the properties on the opposite side of the street. We did include some information in the agenda report regarding the Fema flood zone issues. This property is within a 100-year flood zone. And so it took a little bit longer to get this one to the agenda and reviewed because we did ask the applicant to go through what's called a CLOMA process, which is the conditional letter of map amendment. And so that's FEMA's way of saying, if you build this structure as proposed, it actually is not in the flood zone. There is some mapping inconsistencies here. And so when they presented staff with topographic information, it just, the map, the survey data didn't really align correctly with the flood map. And so they have gone through that process. And then once the structure is built, they will have to submit another request to FEMA to formalize that, which is a LOMA. It removes the conditional part. And so that will go through that process later on. With regards to this neighborhood, we did find it's a consistent character neighborhood according to the city's residential design guidelines. These lots do share similar front yard setback patterns, which are generally greater than 25 feet. The lots are mostly larger lots, larger than the 10,000 square foot minimum, wider than the 80 foot minimum widths. And then just with regards to the residences themselves, most of the residences are kind of the lower scale ranch style houses with gable roof forms, stucco and wood exterior siding materials. And so that's kind of covers the neighborhood. With regards to the specific proposal, the proposed project is going to convert the existing garage area to a family room and then construct a one-story addition, which is 562.5 square feet to the front area. And a second story is proposed 909 square foot addition. And it's primarily a bedroom suite with an office and an exercise area. And then kind of with this design, there's a new front porch area, which is just a little bit more prominent front porch. With regards to setbacks, and I should note on this slide, the upper left-hand portion in gray is the those shaded areas is where all the additions are occurring on this existing house. First story and second story there. So with regards to the setbacks, the existing house is 49 feet from the front yard, from the front property line, whereas the proposed front yard setback will be 25 feet. That's that garage area. The main living component of the house, set in the second story addition, is going to be set back at 44 feet from the front property line. With regards to the rear property line, it's not changing, it's maintaining at 76.9 feet. And then the second story is at 92 feet. And I believe the agenda report kind of misquoted that. It's not the 30 some odd feet, it's 92 feet. So it's got a very large setback to that rear story, to the rear yard, or sorry, rear property line. And then with regards to side yards, as shown on the site plan, that right side yard area is not changing. The second story is substantially away from the right property line. Left property line and left side yard setback is being maintained at 10 feet on the first story, and then that second story is proposed at 18 feet from that left property line. And then also just to note on the site plan, they are showing the existing landscaping. And there was a number of pictures in the agenda report as attachments. I have a couple slides, but I'm just noting it here since there was not an additional or separate landscape plan proposed. With regards to the actual structure, the top portion of the slide is the existing front elevation and the bottom slide is the proposed. And I'll go through a couple of series of slides. So it's always the top is existing, bottom is proposed. So you can see here, there's the existing structure has side facing gables and that strong horizontal eave line in that front. The first story addition will add that front facing gable and it'll remove the left side facing gable. And then the second story additions have that series of gable under gable roof forms there. As I kind of previously noted, the front porch is somewhat concealed now, and they're proposing a more prominent front porch, but it does have a strong horizontal eave line, which kind of breaks up that vertical wall of that front elevation. And then in terms of the design as seen from the front elevation, that second story does minimize the appearance of bulk and vertical mass, primarily by using that gable under gable approach. It breaks up just that whole wall plane. There is a window box kind of projection of that second story, which further it articulates and breaks up the wall plane. And then the proposal includes 8-foot wall plate heights, which is kind of more low scale, and so it's in keeping with the existing structure. Moving on, so opposite of the front, this is the rear elevation. Again, you can kind of see that along the left side, but it's the right portion of this slide is that gable roof form going away. I would note that upon a review of this slide, actually, I think there's a slight discrepancy in what the architect is showing, how that first story roof form intersects. So on the right hand side, and I'll use my cursor here. So I think that this element here, the roof form on the first story, actually is not shown here quite right. It should be about 1.5 feet higher. There's an element here, and you'll see on the next slide where I just think that there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. So, so this roof, there should be in kind of an intersecting roof from the first floor here. Again, this has that, the reverse of the front has this rear facing gable, and it has a window projection at the second story, which breaks up the wall plane. It doesn't have that same gable under gable approach, but it's a rear facing portion, which is generally seen as being okay. And then moving to the left side elevation, again, I'll just kind of use my cursor here. I think this is the portion of the roof which is more true to form. It intersects the second story wall a little bit higher, about 1.5 feet than that rear elevation was shown. Again, this left gable at the first story is being removed. And then at the second story, with regards to window placement, there's 3 windows being placed here, or actually 4. Those 2 fixed windows above the stair. It's substantially higher than the landing, so it's not something that somebody can look straight out of because the landing is far below that. There are 2 other windows in the bathroom on this side facing elevation. One window is 4 feet 2 inches, the sill height from the finished floor area, and the other window has a 2 foot 8 inch sill height. As noted in other design reviews, the commission kind of prefers the second story side facing second story windows to have a minimum of 4.5 feet, just to mitigate any sort of privacy impacts. One window is getting close to that. The other window, which is over the tub, is a little bit lower, but the applicant has proposed to use the opaque glass to obscure those views outwards. Oops, sorry, I jumped ahead. And then also to note, with regards to the left-hand side, here's a couple pictures. There were more included in the agenda report, but there is substantial landscaping there. It's mature. The property owner is going to protect that. We did have a few conditions in the agenda report that proposing to fence that area off. So it'll ensure protection through the construction phase. You can note condition 3 specifically states protection of that privacy landscaping. And then condition number 20 is put in there. So when staff goes out on the final inspection, if there's any sort of supplemental landscaping, then we will request the applicant to install more landscaping at that point. Just to note also, contained in the agenda report, we did receive correspondences from 3 neighbors in support of the project, including the left side neighbor. And then there was 1 correspondence, which was actually from the right side neighbor, which raised some design concerns. All of these were included in the agenda report. So with that, I'm going to conclude my presentation. The architect is here, and he can go into a lot more detail with regards to the design aspects and of the project. But staff is recommending approval of this project subject to the findings and conditions in the agenda report. And with that, I can take any questions you might have.
All right, thank you, Steve. Does any commissioner have a question for the staff?
Yeah, I do. Steve, in the neighborhood context section, there's several referrals to CCNRs. And some of them, it's not the entire CCNR. So my question is, it's not clear who or how or when someone might have an objection, someone from the neighborhood who's part of the CCNRs. So is there a time limit, or is there any provision that in time overrides any of the CCNRs? Because the language says, which may be enforceable by the residents, but not by the city. So how is that affected?